Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Two Gamer Dads podcast, episode 27. As usual, I'm Ian, your host, and with me, as always, the one, the only Marv. Marv, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm back from Japan without you.
You left me. No, it's okay. I willingly stayed behind. Anyway, with us, actually, I realized that we're still using the old Discord group that we have. So this is labeled 2GD episode 1. So basically we have our first guest back with us for episode 27. Chris, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Thanks for having me
Also Sabishi from coming back from Japan. Are you Koishi, are you missing Japan already?
Yeah, but it's okay. The next trip is never that far away.
Okay, so basically to preface this one, we preface this by calling this episode the one about the deck, but then I think we also have to say that this episode will be heavily involved talking about our experiences in Japan, because Marv and Chris just came to Japan and for holiday, and also I live in Japan, so there's that as well. So and something new I'm trying out as well is that I realized that our podcasts tend to go for very, very long. So I've decided to try and put, in our show notes, usually it just has topics, right? But then we can just ramble on for like 45 minutes on a topic, and I realize, oh crap, we've spent too long on this. And then Marvel messaged me, I think we can move on. So for now, I've put timestamps so for me so that we can have some reference. Okay. So before we even begin, we're gonna do our usual deck recommendations first, but I just want to share something super exciting, which has been going on for the past 2 weeks, and that's the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. I don't know, do you guys? Okay, I know Chris, Marv, do you even watch baseball at all?
No, I have no idea what happens in baseball. Yeah, I have no idea what any of the terms mean, and I assume it's like the World Cup right now.
Yeah, yes, but okay, so the difference between this and the World Cup is that the World Cup is ultra prestigious, right? It is the preeminent tournament, right? There are people that like Messi, Lionel Messi is considered the world's best player, but it wasn't really cemented until he won it last year. Like now it's like for most sane people, like people, if Lionel Messi is the best football player that ever played the game. Right?
Yeah, basically has won all the accolades.
Yeah. Yeah, the difference is that for the World Baseball Classic, it's considered like a sub-tier tournament compared to like the MLB, the Major League Baseball, or all the other leagues that, because most of the money is like still in that.
So it's
in the big leagues.
It's like how the Olympics go for basketball isn't as great as winning a ring in NBA, correct?
Yes, because technically all the best players are in the NBA, so winning there, the competition is higher, so it's more prestigious. But I think that narrative has shifted a little bit already. So winning in the Olympics is no longer as easy as it was when Michael Jordan won it when he won it, Chris, 1996, right? 1998 in Barcelona. I can't remember the exact date, but yeah, the narrative. But the reason why the World Baseball Classic has been so amazing is because I like a lot of people who has never gotten into baseball before, me included, have like recently gotten a lot into it, mainly because I'm supporting Japan, right? And like I have a stake in it now because I live here, so I like by proxy, I'm supporting Japan by proxy. And like the people that I talk to always talk about, like I asked my neighbor, who is like a working lady, and asked her whether she's watched WBC, and she said, yeah, I watched it today. I was like, wow, like your average housewife watches baseball.
Where's your baseball jersey then?
Yeah, no, I'm not that far into the supporting it.
We'll buy you.
But I think baseball gets a bad rap in the sense that it's a bit slow and boring, right? I don't know whether any of you have this preconception. Chris, like, do you hold that same idea?
I mean it. Yeah, I think it definitely feels like I won't say it's a slow paced game, but it kind of feels like the excitement comes in
short bursts,
small bursts,
yeah,
and then there could be a significant stretch of play where not much happens.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
Again, I'm not super familiar with the game.
Yeah. So like for me, right? It's like if like football and basketball are like the elite, it's like one end of the spectrum where it requires a lot of athleticism. Like people are constantly moving. You need to have like use your whole body to do stuff. And then the other end of the spectrum is like golf, baby. Like super. I'm not shitting on golf, by the way. Golf is like,
but good job.
yeah, but you guys get what I mean, right? It's like it's extremely high skill, but like you wouldn't call a golfer like an elite. Okay, see that I'm not wouldn't call elite an elite athlete, but like, I feel like baseball is like somewhere like in the middle of these two sports.
I think you're talking
Right.
about like the level of activeness
Yeah, athleticism
within the
required.
game.
Yeah,
Within the
true.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like for footballers, they run for 90 minutes basically. They don't stop. I mean, they stop for halftime. That's all they stop for. Or when they say.
I also always have
but-
this impression that baseball is a very slow game. Like there's
Yeah.
a lot of waiting time for something to happen, then something exciting happens, then you wait again. Kind of like NS lah.
Yeah,
Like National
but
Service.
I don't know whether like because the WBC is maybe I don't know whether the WBC is different from like normal baseball games, but it's extremely exciting. Maybe because the stakes seem a little bit higher,
Mhm.
like you're fighting for your country. Well, maybe because like just Japan. So in this tournament, Japan has always been like a powerhouse in baseball. In fact, for every year that it's like the Olympics, it's held every 4 years. Japan has been no lower than fourth. So they have made it to the semifinals every single WBC, and they've won it twice. So they are the winningest team in WBC, and now they're going to the finals, and they're facing against the US tomorrow.
Nice.
So
Are they the
exciting
favorites?
I think on paper, people will say that Japan is the favorite by because they have very elite players, and they have Shohei Ohtani, who is like Japan's star player and also like the MVP of the American Baseball League. So
Oh,
he's like
So he
he's
plays
their
in
star player.
MLB.
Yes, he plays for the MLB. So
Yeah,
he's the funny thing is
Shohei Ohtani is a beast.
yeah, he's like
The guy can do
and-
everything.
And the reason why he's so and I tell you, people go crazy over Shohei Ohtani here. Like the Ohtani-san. Everybody's like all gushing over him. He's so tall, he's so handsome, he's so good. Yeah. But the reason why he's very popular is because he's a pitcher and he's a batter. Like he hits the ball.
Mhm.
So one thing I realized that in sports, in baseball, is that most people are specialists. Like they're very, very good at one thing. So if you're a good pitcher, you almost never bat.
I see.
Yeah, you're just focused on like throwing the ball as well as you can. But he's an elite pitcher and he is elite batter. So that's why he's famous. But anyway, so hopefully tomorrow we get a good game. Yeah, okay. My time for the WBC is over.
Oh, it's tomorrow
Now
morning,
let's-
right?
Yeah, tomorrow morning. Well, no, it's tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow morning. So Japan doesn't have a rest. They played this morning
Okay.
against Mexico.
So they are at a
Yeah.
disadvantage lah.
Yeah, and they're jet lag also because they flew from Tokyo in the previous match. Yeah. So anyway, but it's okay. Let the best team win. All right, moving on to the recommendations. So as usual, this part of the podcast is where each of us kind of share audio snippet or something we want to recommend, and then the other people try to figure out what kind of recommendation is it. All right, and then you can also guess. Those our listeners who are listening along as well.
Yep.
So maybe who wants to start first? Marv?
You can go
You
first.
decide,
You can go first. I'll play
Okay.
yours for
Yeah.
the listeners. Then Chris, you can listen on your own in our WhatsApp group.
Listen to the first 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Okay.
I think you'll get more out of it.
Ready? Let's go.
Peggy 12.
I need to do terrible things again. Now we must find the prophet and kill him.
Will we finally hunt the circle?
Yes.
Okay, I played 25 seconds.
Okay. Okay, any guesses what it is?
We must find the prophet and kill
Like
him.
what does this sound like?
Halo.
Chris, any guesses? Halo?
Sounds like Halo.
No, I don't think it's Halo, right? It's It's a game? Well, obviously a game. It's Peggy 12. What game is this? Wow, I don't know.
The lady's
I'm gonna-
voiceover sounds very familiar, but
Do we know
Yeah.
this game?
I've mentioned it before. But it's not okay. So I'll spare you guys your misery. So it is a game. So at the start it says Peggy 12, which is like the game's rating for like whether it's yeah. So it's a game. It's a game called Chorus. Chris, you should know this, right? Do you know? Have you heard of it? Chorus.
oh
So it is a
yeah,
it
the
is
one
a
you mentioned that I
space-
haven't checked out yet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a space simulator. So it's obviously sci-fi, right? The music is quite sci-fi, and then the whole premise of like, oh, let's kill the prophet. But the reason why I want to recommend this game is because I've been playing it on my deck recently, and it's just a really really good arcade space simulator. So if you've ever played, the closest I can compare it to is Freelancer. I know Marv has definitely not played Freelancer.
Nope.
But Chris has definitely played Freelancer. So Freelancer is the brainchild of the one and only Chris Roberts, aka the man who has earned $500 million from Star Citizen, the ongoing alpha. So, but Freelancer was really good, and Chorus I wouldn't recommend buying it full price. I didn't buy it full price. I bought it for like 80% or something, but at like it's a really good 15-hour space sim. It's very simple as well. There's no like landing on planets. There's no it's mainly just focused on like flight and like fighting, and it's a space dogfighting game. But the cool thing about it is that your ship, right? Your ship is like a super I don't know how to describe it. It's like a super ship. So it can like drift in space. So that you can literally like as you're flying and you're boosting, you can tap a button and your ship kind of like splits apart, and it kind of like Tokyo drift in space. So you can basically what I usually for is the thing about space sim, right? If you ever played Marv, you played Squadrons, right?
Yes.
Star Wars Squadron. So
Yes.
like when you're dogfighting, then usually what happens is that you will go past you will shoot your enemy, and then you'll fly past each other, right? Then you will try to like lower your speed and turn the ship around so that you can do the same thing back to them, right? So but what you can do with this drifting, right, is that as your enemy passes you, right, you can kind of just hold the drift button, and because you're drifting and turning so rapidly, right, the other ship doesn't even have time to turn around, and you can just shoot it. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's a cool game. It's a cool space sim. I recommend, especially for Chris, because I think it's a Chris type of game.
Okay.
It's Chorus,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, Chorus.
How do you spell it?
Chorus, as in
Like,
chorus
literally
of a
the-
song chorus.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, CHRUS.
And obviously it's on
Which
Steam
one are you?
because you're playing on the Steam Deck.
Yes, it is on
Currently
Steam.
63% off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because now it's spring sale.
Spring sale.
Do it. Do it. Yeah. Okay, that's my recommendation.
I don't think Chris has one. I have one, but it's not an audio clip.
Oh,
so
okay.
to keep with the the spirit of today's theme, which is Japan, right? The thing that I wanted to recommend is Takubin, like the service. So to give our listeners like an idea of what it is, it's basically a delivery service within Japan, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So what we used it for was to deliver our luggages from one. What do they call it? Do they call it state? One province.
Vince.
Ken.
Right.
Ken, they call it Ken.
Yeah. Which is what province is it?
Yeah, I guess you can use prefecture.
Yeah.
The word is prefecture.
So I don't want to jump too far ahead, into the show notes. But basically, what we did was we used it 3 times. 3 times.
Yeah. You send it to
I went
Sendai.
from Osaka to twice. Sorry, from Osaka to Sendai, and then Sendai to
You
Tokyo.
didn't send it from Sendai to Tokyo, man?
Yes, I did. So Osaka to Sendai, then Sendai to Tokyo lah. Yeah. So
okay.
we used it. We used it twice, and wow, I would say that it's life changing. Yeah, this is the true life changing experience.
Not
Yamamoto Menzo. Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I'll talk about it more when we talk about our trip later on.
Yeah.
So that's my recommendation.
Mm.
Yeah.
So Takubin is actually a short form for Taku Haibin, which is like a high speed delivery. That's what it means. And and the Takoyabin is just a general term, but I think you mostly use Yamato, which is like the cat. There's a
Yep,
cat
the cat.
logo.
I think there's
So Yamato
Sagawa
is-
also, right?
Yeah, there's a few like logistics companies that do it,
Yep.
but like I think especially in Toku region and social, I guess all the way to Kansai, they use Yamato the most. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can talk about it more later lah, and recommend it to people who travel to Japan, especially with a lot of luggage.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Chris doesn't have one, right? Chris, does he have one?
No, sorry, I did not have time.
No,
to prep
no
one.
worries, no worries. All right. Okay, so let's move on to now let's talk about the trip to Japan, because recently Chris came for 3 weeks.
From there.
3 weeks, right? So you spent a week with Grace and Alex, right? You skied in Niseko.
A week and a half, maybe more or less.
Okay. And then you travel alone for like the remaining half, right?
Yeah.
And then Marv came for 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks, yep.
With Sharon and Mary, as well as his in-laws and his parents. That's like a whole entourage traveling. So it's like Chris, how was your trip?
It was good. First time to Niseko, so that was fun. And then Tokyo is Tokyo. It's lovely as always.
How was Niseko? Was it crowded with? Okay, so Niseko is like the preeminent place you go when you want to ski in Hokkaido, especially. It's like the
Probably the
Like-
most famous
yeah
international.
Gaikokujin. Yeah. How was
Yeah.
it?
It was good. It was. I mean, I felt it was kind of crowded, but apparently nowhere near as crowded as the Chinese New Year period. But I mean, we knew that, which is why we deliberately avoided,
Yeah,
going
why?
during Chinese New Year.
Mm.
But yeah, it definitely kind of feels like they've built a lot of housing infrastructure, but they haven't really built enough support infrastructure. So the restaurants were very crowded. Lift lines on certain days could get quite long. But yeah, so it did feel a bit crowded. Yeah,
Yeah. And when you say lift lines, you mean ski lift lines, right? Nobody's
Yeah.
waiting for the elevator.
yeah.
So how long would you have to wait for the ski lift?
Depends. Some of them, I mean, and I think this is a phenomenon that I noticed. I think, from videos that people share from across the world, basically, because revenge travel is real. So I think a lot of people are flocking to.
Revenge? What is revenge travel?
Have you know how revenge travel?
You travel for the sake of revenge?
No,
What
is
does that mean?
the concept of people traveling, like basically everybody traveling because they've been deprived of travel due to COVID for the past several years. Have you not heard this term?
No,
Is this a Singaporean term?
no.
Maybe it might be a Singaporean term.
I have
perhaps.
5.
To be fair, we haven't traveled. No, Marion and I haven't really traveled for holiday
Dude,
ever since COVID. So, oh wow,
this is because you're in Japan.
yeah. I mean, that's
You
a
guys
different
are
story.
in the midst of traveling.
Yeah.
It doesn't count when you when you migrate,
Really
guys.
does.
Traveling is not the same as migration.
It really does. Yeah, so it seems as though a lot of people have been flocking to ski resorts all over the world. So I've seen some videos of lift lines that are truly ridiculous. Like there's reports of some people taking an hour just to board a gondola up the mountain and stuff like that.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
It was not near as bad in Niseko. Because technically we are no longer we went after peak season, but
Yep.
I mean on bad days the lift lines could have been something like 15-20 minutes perhaps.
Yeah, that's still quite bad though.
Yeah.
Okay. And like you mentioned, I think when I talked to you about it, you said that. So like you guys stayed in the resort itself, or did you guys like Airbnb or what?
No, we stayed at a. Well, I mean, it's not a. So Niseko itself has 4 resorts in it. I would say, basically 4 different sides of the mountain. So we were staying in Hirafu, which is I think by far the most popular as far as international visitors are concerned. So we weren't staying in the village itself. We were staying in a small little lodge. That was about maybe 5 to 8 minutes drive from the main village center.
So you drove, is it? You drove around?
No, the place that we were staying in had a shuttle service that would take us into
Okay.
the village.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. And then after your Niseko, that's a long time to ski.
Yeah,
You
but I
skied
mean,
the whole 9 days, 7, I don't know how long.
I was there for a week. Yeah, a week and a half, so about 10-ish days. But you know, having a long trip just means that we've got time to
Take your
have like
time.
break
Yeah,
days
it's
in
true. It's
between.
true. Yeah,
You know,
you
that's
don't
what the
need to
onsens are
ski.
for.
Yeah, that's true. You don't need to rush like, we gotta get our ski, and if not, the 4 days not
Yeah.
worth it kind of
Yeah.
thing. Okay. When you pay for the resort, does it come with ski? Like, does it come with like ski lift, or you have to pay that separately?
Pay it separately.
Oh, okay, that can get pricey.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, Grace and Alex flew back. They flew back from Hokkaido, from Sapporo.
Yeah, transiting through Tokyo.
Okay. And then you did your thing for 1.5. Where did you go after that? You just went to Tokyo.
Yeah, I spent a full week in Tokyo.
And
Sunday.
you're working as well, right? You're working
Yeah.
and okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so later on you have on the second part of it, the 0.6, you can talk about what are some must go, must see, must eat places in Japan, especially in Tokyo, because yeah. And then Marv, how about you? How was your trip with
That
your
was good.
entourage?
I think I don't know if mine is classified as revenge.
Yes, it is.
But it was definitely, I mean, Japan is definitely the one place, not one place, but the number one place that Shirley and I wanted to go back to lah.
All Singaporeans, basically.
Yeah, because the last time we went was July of 2019. 2019, yeah.
Before COVID lah.
So basically,
Just before.
yeah, it was like what, more than 3 years lah, right? That we've been waiting to go back. Yeah, and obviously this one was a very different trip for me because we have Meredith, and then we have both sets of parents coming along. So, like, I think we made a mistake lah, because we thought that if we do the midnight flight, Meredith will sleep. Like because we didn't let her sleep in like before we went to the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to the airport like 9:30. Then we walked around, let her run around and stuff. So hoping that she'll fall asleep on the plane, but unfortunately that didn't happen. And you all know what happens when kids don't get their sleep lah. So she got really cranky on the plane. I think it was I would say it's my most stressful flight ever.
Yeah.
Like in the history of my life. I felt so bad for the people around us because she kept like whining. She wouldn't like she's not one of us, like she won't kick the chair or like, scream at all her lungs, but she will cry and whine a bit, which is enough that I think would be irritating to people around me. Like if I was sitting in front of her, I'll be irritated. Yeah. So basically Shirley and I just took turns to like carry her lor. Yeah. So she only fell asleep when we were on the train to Osaka. So yeah, then I think to make matters worse, so her daily routine is go to school, and then my parents pick her up at 1, and then she gets her nap like on her own bed in my parents' house at like 2 o'clock lah. So she's not the type of kid that gets to sleep outside in a pram, in a stroller. Yeah. So she's not used to it. But obviously when you're on holiday, you can't like just go back home and like, I mean you could, but you're kind of wasting time, right? Traveling back to the hotel or traveling back to wherever we're staying. Yeah, so she couldn't sleep well. So it took her like maybe almost a week lah, like 5 days to get used to sleeping in the pram. So the first few days when we were in Osaka, she'll just be very cranky, like from like 3 p.m. onwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the tough part. I think like for me lah, personally, I don't know about Sherlyn, but I think it's quite similar. Like this is a totally different experience for us, and we weren't really ready for it. So. Yeah. But other than that, I think we did have fun. I mean, Meredith definitely had fun. So before we came, like we had our list of things that we wanted to eat. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like we come to Japan and we want to eat, right? So the only thing that we didn't get to go to was
Was
Harukoma
Harukoma.
in Osaka. But we got to eat like the rest of the stuff that we wanted to. We ticked off like Ikambo,
Renzo.
Ginza Kagiri, yeah, Menzo, a few other stuff lah.
Yeah.
So I mean overall it was a good trip. But when we came back, I told Charlene, I need another trip. Like, I need another holiday without Meredith.
Yeah. PSA. Traveling with children is a different experience.
Yeah. and also because I think you saw my father-in-law, right? He's using a walking stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of things we had to make sure that he can navigate. So okay, so there was one day in Tokyo, we went for this like they say it's like a Mount Fuji sightseeing tour lah.
Yep.
So we go to like the surrounding areas around Mount Fuji,
Yeah.
like to see like different angles.
Yeah.
And there was one particular spot where they brought us where it's two different how would I say elevation sites. So the first one was 90 steps. And it's like stone steps. It's not like your regular HDB step. Yeah.
Even basically.
Yeah. And the second one was 400 steps. Something like that, right? Something like that. Yeah. So obviously we were not going to do the 400 steps one. So we did the 90 steps one.
Yeah.
And I think about maybe like the last like 10%, my father-in-law like going to GG already, yeah.
Yeah.
So end up, right, my wife and my mother-in-law had to hold like one side each and then help him up like on the grass patch. Like instead of climbing the steps,
Yeah.
he would climb like the grass patch next to the steps. And it was super slow. So I ran up with Meredith. Then I took pictures with Meredith, took pictures with my parents, and finally they managed to reach the top.
Oh man,
Yeah, it was quite stressful lah. Yeah, yeah.
Would it coming down be harder? No.
Okay, so we actually found out. So Shirley and I, we went to like walk around the area. Then there was this like long slope at the road lah, all the way down. But you're walking along the road. So my father-in-law went like along the road.
Yeah.
And to jump on like towards the to Takubin, right? So I'm so glad we found it. Or rather, I'm so glad that you told us about it because because my father-in-law is like that, so he can't really like push her luggage, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously we have to carry Meredith, and then there's also her stroller. So when we did Takubin and we were like all the luggages, we just sent all the luggages and we only carried like backpack. I was like, wow.
Send them all.
Wow.
Freedom.
I'm doing this next time I come here.
And okay, and to also to preface it to other people, it's not as expensive as you would think.
Yes. I think that's like the other plus point. It was like $30 per huge luggage, and by huge I mean like
like a large piece of luggage, like
I don't know the volume. So they have like large, medium, and small, right? So it's like $31 for the large one and like 20 something for the medium one. It's super affordable, and it gets there before you. Yeah. So we sent like, for example, I think was Sendai to Tokyo, right? So we sent it the day before. Yeah. And when we got to our residences in Tokyo, it was already there.
Yep.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah. So you can use it preemptively as well. Obviously, it's a national thing, so you can't like send it from another location. You can send it from outside the country. But like once let's say if you plan to travel to like, you land in Tokyo, but you plan to go to like Fukuoka or somewhere that's a bit further, and you don't want to lug it on the Shinkansen, or let's say you don't happen to be taking it, or let's say you plan to take it like 5 days in the future, like, for the first 5 days you have like one set of luggage. You can actually send that pair of luggage like somewhere else, and you can actually stipulate when you want it to arrive.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a great service.
Actually, when we were in Osaka and then we wanted to send our stuff to Sendai, right? The person actually advised us to send it one extra day in advance, because normally it's 3 p.m. the previous day. But then she told us come like one extra day, because she said like the weather conditions there are bad during that time. Yeah. So what we did was we packed everything into one luggage, then we kept that luggage with us and we sent the rest.
Mm.
Yeah.
But obviously, your place of residence must have someone to receive it, lah.
Oh yeah.
So like it has to be like a hotel with a reception, or like if you have an Airbnb, then you need to let the owner know that it's coming. Like if not, the person come, then if there's nobody to collect it, he'll just just drive away, and then put a receipt in the letterbox or something. Ask you to come and collect it. Yeah. So okay, cool. Okay, before we move on to the next topic, I want to ask you how was your you want to share a bit about your ryokan experience? This is not your first ryokan, right?
Okay, it's my first ryokan. So
Oh.
what
okay.
happened was that I actually didn't plan to stay at ryokan, but then because so we invited our parents along lah. Then my mom was like, okay, I want to stay at ryokan. Can you like research and then find out like a good ryokan to stay at? And the reason why I didn't want to stay at ryokans was because I've always heard that they are really expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive.
Yeah, they are pretty
It is
expensive.
expensive.
Chris, you've stayed at ryokan before, I assume, lah, right?
Several, yeah.
Yeah. So this was my first experience. I asked you for recommendations, right, Ian?
Yeah.
And so you gave me some. I looked through all of them. Initially the one that we wanted was fully booked, which was slightly cheaper than the one that we eventually got. Yeah. So the one that we eventually got was Kiyomizu.
Kiyomizu.
Yeah. And we got to really thank Marianne for picking us up at the station and then leading us to the spot, because I think if we were on our own we wouldn't find it. Yeah, it's quite complicated to get there, especially if you don't know the way, lah. Yeah. So okay, let's talk about price wise. It was, I think, 400 plus per room for one night, and compared to like
hotel.
Okay, compared to like my Tokyo stay, which was we stayed in a service apartment, that one was like 300 a night. Yeah, and it's a like a two bedroom, one hall, you know, with a kitchen and a washing machine kind of thing. So this one's like 400 per night. Okay, but I gotta say that the food.
You gotta include the price tag. You have to include that they give you a full buffet.
Yeah, the food was so good. And let me share what happened. So obviously they have like so obviously we have dinner first, right? Because we reached there, it's like it was like 3 p.m. So we had dinner at 5, and then they bring the food out, and like it's like this spread, you know, right in front of you with like so many dishes. I think like 9 or 10 dishes, something like that. And then obviously
all at once, or they give it to you in courses?
No, they give you in like this huge, like I don't even know how to say it. It's like a grid. It's literally like a grid, and then every grid has like one dish. Yeah.
Okay.
So then they will come, then they will say like, oh, this is what. Then okay, go ahead and eat like in any order that you want. And obviously, you know, it being Japan, there is sashimi, right? So there's sashimi.
Chris, did you hear about this?
He did.
Oh no.
And then there is what do you call it? Sukiyaki.
Nabe,
right?
nabe,
right? Yeah. So my mom, being somebody who doesn't eat sashimi, I was like, you're not eating that, right? Can I have it? So there's obviously like salmon, there's tuna, there's some other fish, and then there's uni, and there is a prawn.
Yeah.
Then I was like, can I have that since you don't eat sashimi? She's like, no, I want to eat. Then I'm like, you are going to eat that? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to cook it. I was like, what? You're going to cook it? And she literally take like the super nice like salmon belly, and then she put it into the nabe. And I just watch it like turn hard. I was like, oh my goodness. So like to salvage it, I was like, give me the sea urchin. You're not going to eat that anyway. So she gave me the uni. So at least I had the extra helping of uni. Yeah, but the rest of it she cooked. And thankfully none of the staff saw her cooking. Or maybe if they did, they didn't say anything.
Yeah. They wouldn't say anything anyway.
It was quite funny, lah. But I'm pretty sure she's not the first person to have done it.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that can you pull up the photo of the food that Meredith had, just to show our people.
Yeah. Let me find it. Give me a second.
I think okay. So to give you some context, at that time when they were at the ryokan, right? I don't know what Chris was doing, but I know what I was doing. We were at McDonald's. So I was like eating my like. I remember I ordered like some crab burger. It was a new. I always try to eat the new burger at McDonald's. but it doesn't usually work in Japan. I feel like Japan has great burgers, McDonald's burgers, but like I think the mainstays are the decent ones. But like the new burgers, like they're not like Singapore where the new burgers tend to err on the side of good rather than bad. But Japanese new burgers are just not good. But anyway, I remember I was eating like crab burger and then I saw the picture of what Meredith was eating. And I was like, I don't even think that a regular size, like a regular adult can finish that meal.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
Marv, it was that I was like crazy the amount of food that she had. Did she even come close to finishing it?
No. We had to help her. So I'm not sure if Chris, did we show you the picture?
I don't seem to remember.
It
seeing what
was
Meredith
it was
eating.
madness. Let me see if I can find it for you. So it's in our chat, I think, Marv. The
Yeah.
you our wife's chat. Yeah. But yeah, anyway. So that's cool. Yeah, ryokans are expensive. I've only been to man, we've been to how many? Just one, is it? In Biwako? We've only been to Biwako.
Huh?
We've only been to Biwako ryokan.
The one that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's expensive lah. And I mean there are cheap ryokans. There are cheaper ryokans, but of course then your food will be reimbursed accordingly, right? Like you may not have kaiseki, which is the Japanese traditional course dinner. Yeah. And you definitely won't have, you might just have breakfast basically. Chris, you see it? Insane.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it on our stream.
Yeah.
So it's basically like 2 meals. There's pasta and then there's like what's
Yeah,
that?
there's-
Some hamburger
yo-
stick.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like because there's yoshoku and washoku. Yoshoku is like Western style food, and washoku is Japanese style food. And like I feel like the staff is just like, we'll just give them both.
Yeah.
So we can't decide. We'll
There
just
was
give
so
them
much food.
both. Yeah.
Yeah, there was
But
no way
I'm
she was
sure-
gonna finish it on her own.
And I don't. Did you guys even finish your portions of it? Like your own.
I finished mine lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed. So I guess I'll see you guys soon again.
Probably without Meredith.
Sure. Come anytime. Just let me know when you're coming. I'll see whether I'm free. So I actually want to move on to like people who have come to Japan or have been wanting to come to Japan, but usually people will just go see the same thing, right? They'll go to the tourist trap. They'll eat Ichiran ramen. They will I don't know where they'll eat. Where are tourist traps in? They go to I don't know Disney Sea. I know what they'll do, but what I want to ask like the people like especially for like Chris who comes to Japan quite regularly, myself who lives in Japan, what are some of the places that you would recommend to people who come to Japan or have never been to Japan before? Silence. Okay, before the podcast, right? What happened was that Chris was like, "I'm not going to tell people where I go because he doesn't want them to go to the places and stop his queue."
I think the question changes depending on whether the person's been to Japan or not. Because if that person's never been to Japan, then I mean we talk about tourist traps, but there are a lot of touristy things that are
worth going
worth
with.
seeing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's segment that then. What if I'm a person who's never been to Japan, like Marv's parents, right? Where would you recommend people go? So Ichiran.
I mean, I quite like I quite like Japan's temples. So temples like like Meiji Jingu and places like that are places that I still like to go, despite the fact that I've been there many times. It's just a very calming, nice little walk through the gardens and stuff. So I always recommend that. What else? There are a lot of Japan has a lot of attractions, things like where we have these viewing galleries at on top of a skyscraper somewhere. So you've got things like Tokyo Tower, Sky Trees. I think the newest one is it's called Shibuya. One of the newer ones is called Shibuya Sky, which is at top of one of the newer buildings in the Shibuya area. So all these places give very good views. Like it's a beautiful place. So so it's things like that, I guess. I mean, food wise, again, it's very hard, right? it's hard because it depends. Is the person willing to queue? Are they traveling with children? It's very hard to give a recommendation here, I guess, without knowing the target audience.
But let's say, go ahead.
Like Japanese. Okay, you talk about like Japanese food, right? There's like the few major categories that you want them to hit, right? Like ramen, udon, sushi. What else? Yakiniku.
Yakitori, izakaya style.
Yeah, there's a few stuff lah. So, like, I would say if it's a new traveler to Japan, almost anything that they can just want to walk into and eat will probably be great. Right? Like it's like when I first went with Sherilyn and we went to Ichiran, be like, oh my god, Ichiran is like the best shit ever. But I mean, obviously, we did know better lah. But if you're new, I think it's fine. If you're new, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, okay, me, Chris and I, we consider ourselves as ramen aficionados in a sense. Like we like ramen, we hold ramen to a certain standard. But at the same time, I don't think we hate on Ichiran for its flavor or taste or accessibility. I think most of us just think that it's not worth queuing for.
Yep.
Right. They are much better.
Crazy. They're always crazy.
With your time. So like for example, if you come to Sendai, there's an Ichiran ramen in Albadori, which is the main road in Sendai. There is no queue.
True. Okay, whatsoever. Sendai no queue. Because nobody goes to
So if that's the case and you happen to be walking by on your lunch break, like I would go in for a bite. But I'll go in and eat Ichiran ramen because it's not a bad bowl of ramen. It's just not worth doing.
Shrilyn's parents went. They went.
And what did they say? Did they like it?
Did they queue for it?
I'm pretty sure not.
Yeah.
Did they buy the omiyage bag?
Yeah, she said no queue. So I think they probably walked in lah. Like they saw and then they just walked in.
Yeah. So like I think like even sushi contents, like chain shops in Japan. So even sushi shops are split into like categories, right, in Japan. So you have like kaiten sushi, which is like your conveyor belt sushi, which is like the lowest level of sushi like experience. The quality is the lowest, but the value is also there in a sense you pay much lesser for it. But even among kaiten sushi chain shops, there are like levels. So there's like Genki sushi, which is super low. You would not want to eat Genki sushi in Japan either. Or you have like Sushiro, which is also in Singapore, right? Have you guys had Sushiro in Singapore?
I have not had Sushiro, but I have Genki sushi.
Actually, Sushiro, I mean, I wouldn't queue for Sushiro, but like here you don't need to queue, and it's good. Like it's decent kaiten sushi. Like when you eat the maguro, you wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, what kind of maguro is this? You would just be like, oh, okay, that's not bad. You're not paying like an arm and a leg for it. You're paying like maybe 300, 400 yen for like 2 pieces, which is fine.
Nice.
It's pretty normal. And I brought you guys to Umai Sushikan, right? Mm-hmm. So that's like another, like that's like in between the middle tier, which is kind of like the place where you actually see the guy making the sushi for you in front of you. Like you can tell he's a trained chef. He might not be the best trained chef in the world, but he's at least trained. And then obviously you have those like omakase where it's like per person is like ichiman ijo, which is like more than $100 per person at least. So, but I think like first like zanmai.
Sushi zanmai.
Yeah, that's fine. That's like the mid tier. It's like the what's the equivalent in Singapore? Sushi-tei?
No.
It's like, what, you don't like the mango? What's that? Dragon roll in Sushi-tei?
I don't know. I haven't eaten Sushi-tei in a very, very long time.
Yeah. So I think for that, like, it's probably fine for people who have never been before. And I don't know whether people know this, but actually Japan is so diverse that each like prefecture has their own like specialty food. So if you actually really want to like explore Japan in its fullness, obviously people will just go to the major cities, right? So you go to Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, and you can get most like good foods there because that's where all the good restaurants will be at as well. But if you really want to eat like specialty foods and you want to visit like different prefectures, each prefecture has like their own specialty food. Like there's this type of food called wani soba, wonki soba. I can't remember the name. It's the one where
Wanko soba, right?
wakasoba. Is it wakosoba? Wakisoba? It's the one basically where there's
So
like,
small bowl, right? Then it's
Yeah.
just the noodles.
so the staff is like standing beside you
Yeah,
with
they
like
pour.
100 bowls of
Yeah.
tiny soba, and you're supposed to just basically inhale the
Yeah,
soba.
it's like
in
one mouth, just one mouth.
one mouth, and then like they say like guys should be able to eat anywhere from like 60 to 80 bowls, and girls will be like maybe 40 to 60 bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like this, I think
So the
you only
moment you
can.
eat one bowl, the staff will just
Yeah.
pour another serving into your.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. And it's a specialty in Iwate.
I
Yeah, which
think
is
I watched. Do you know who is Ludwig? Do you know
No.
who is Ludwig? He's a
Yeah,
YouTuber.
it's a
lah.
YouTuber.
So he was in Japan, and then he and his friends challenged like one of Japan's food, like eating champions.
Oh,
So basically,
sounds
like
like a
the
mistake.
three of them.
that's not.
One of them was Connor from Trash Taste.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's not a champion. He's not a food eating
Yeah,
person.
so the three of them had to combine to try and beat
Oh,
the
Okay.
and even
the champion.
you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
where?
combine.
No, I don't think.
And he
They,
won.
they still lost lah.
They still
Yeah,
lost.
they still
Like the
lost.
guy
Yeah,
ate like 400 bowls or something like that.
yeah, I can.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. If you got time, you go and Google Ludwig, and then you can watch that episode. It's quite funny lah. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I did bring my dads, the two dads to Kikambo though, and they loved it. Like
Yeah.
they had the middle tier. I think it was like
Yeah,
level
as in
3,
Chukara,
right?
level 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
Yes.
level 1 is nothing, right? Level 1 is basically nothing.
Okay, I wouldn't say it's nothing. No, there's level 0.
Oh, those zero.
Zero.
Zero is
Okay, so
nothing.
it's level 0.
Zero.
Then there's low, medium, and high, and then oni, right?
and only, yeah.
Yeah. So they had medium, and they finished everything. Like they drank until like the bowl was clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you guys already, like you guys were way too conservative about it. They've toned down their spice level. It is no longer.
I don't know
spicy.
about that, man. I ate the 2. I think. Marv, you said 2, right?
No, I ate one because I haven't been in so long. I was a bit scared.
Oh, one is 2 already. I think for me 2 is the sweet spot. But anyway, okay. So let's lead on to the next topic, which I think is good. Which is, what are your top 3 things to do, eat, see in Japan? Your personal top 3, or it's not things that you might recommend, but it's like the things that when you think of Japan, like the things that you're most ikitai, the places that you want to go the most. What are the top 3 places that ring out to you the most? Okay. I'll go first. I'll
Okay.
start. We'll go like one, and
Sure,
then so
sure.
you can have time to think. Mine's easy. My first one is Kikambo. Like Kikambo to me is my favorite ramen menya in the whole world. Like if I go to Tokyo and I don't eat Kikambo, like I will seek out Kikambo if I have to. I'll be very sad if I go to Tokyo and I have to leave Tokyo without eating a Kikambo. I think the queue is ridiculous. Last time I went in December. I queued for
No queue.
I queued for 2 hours. Yeah, actually, you don't. I queued for 2 hours, and then me and Chris had the same thing. It's like Chris ate it first, and he was like, I think the standard slip, but I'm not too sure whether it's like, just because I haven't eaten it in a long time, or just I told him I think the standard is still there. I think it's dropped a little bit, but I think overall the standard is
Actually,
there.
right, on this topic, so I sidetrack a bit. I
Yes.
think, if I'm not wrong, Sherilyn also said that she felt that there was something different, but I didn't feel anything. I was like, it's still great. I didn't think there was a difference. Yeah.
No, it is definitely still great, but
Yeah.
it feels like they've tweaked something in their recipe. And I think it is no longer as consistent as it used to be. So I've been there 3 times this year.
This year, holy crap, that's this year.
The taste profile is not the same across the 3 times that I've been there.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like, there are some days where it feels like they've added more garlic. There are some days where the broth tastes a bit more acidic than some of the other times. So I don't know. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't comment because
I
I
always
had
order the
one.
same thing. So
had
I
it
remember what
once.
it tastes like.
Means I gotta go back there soon and have it.
I will say, okay, so for those of you who don't know, Kikambo is Karamiso ramen chain. No, it's not a chain. Oh, it's a chain now, but it's the main shop is in the middle of Akihabara and what's the other station called?
And
Kanda.
Kanda. Yeah.
So it's kind of like in the middle of the city, and it's it's you can choose your spice level, but I mean I think we all agree that apart from the broth, like a big star of the show is that freaking char siu. That
Yeah,
char
man.
siu is like Mariam will say that she can just eat the char siu with rice. Like she'll be happy to go to Kikambo and just eat the
I
char
had that.
siu
I ordered
with
the big char siu with rice.
yeah. So I think also for Kikambo, right, one thing that you guys can take note of is that you can also order omiyage now, which is like something you can buy to take home. And I bought it to bring it home to Sendai, and I can say that the quality of the omiyage is not the same as if you eat at a restaurant there, for sure.
For sure.
But it is comparable. It is surprisingly comparable. Like the flavor profiles, taste profiles, everything is, and the char siu is still so soft, even after you bring it back and cook it again. So if let's say you don't go back and queue again, but you want to eat it again, you can like queue that 2 hours that you need to queue the first time to eat it, and then you make sure you buy omiyage back to your hotel or wherever you and eat it again. So you don't need to
That's a
queue
good
again.
idea, actually.
Yeah. So that's my hot tip. Next time if you want to try again, but you don't want to go back another time to queue. All right. So moving on. Anybody else? What is your top three? Or no, you can just say one first.
Yeah, I think my top one is also Kikambo.
Same. Mine is also Kikambo.
This
Oh, so we all share Kikambo.
Kikambo is the only place that still has a guaranteed meal slot reserved for any trip that I take, no matter how short that trip might be. Yeah. So I could be trying like new restaurants for every other meal, but Kikambo will always have one.
And
meal
that
reserved.
opinion has not been revised even after you think that the recipe has changed.
Yeah. No, I mean it's still great. Like I mean it's a minor change. It's not as though, it's completely changed. It's a fairly minor change, but it's definitely enough for me to notice it. Like the spice level, I remember, having, because I usually order the high spice level, right?
Yeah.
And eating that used to put my face in a state of physical pain. Like I'll be physically in pain as I'm eating the noodles.
Yeah, that's what I
Remember-
experienced the second time I ate it.
Yeah. And I don't
But no,
think it's
it's not.
because my spice tolerance level has gone up. I mean, that can't be the case over COVID, right? So I don't know. The first couple of times I went back this year, it's like having the noodles. I didn't even break a sweat. Like I literally did not sweat eating the noodles, which is strange to me because I mean that can't be right. So, yeah, it was only when I went back the third time when it seemed to be a bit spicier than the first couple of times. So I don't know. Again, it comes back to, it feels like their quality is a bit inconsistent, and I'm not really sure why that's the case.
I will say for most people, if you've never been before, if you have decent spice tolerance, like for Singaporeans especially, and by say decent spice tolerance, it means that you eat your bak chor mee like normal spice lah. You don't ask for like sao la and everything, right? There's like not great spice, but decent spice tolerance. I think you should start at like medium. That's like the medium base, and then from there you can like adjust accordingly. Because I feel that personally for me, high spice back then was too spicy. Like I didn't enjoy the bowl as much as I did on medium spice. But I can't imagine how low spice tastes. Like I'll probably just be like sad eating it. So yeah, for those of you who've never been before, recommend medium spicy if you have decent spice tolerance. All right, number 2. I will go a little bit different, and I will say that I would go. If I could do it again, I'll go to Fushimi Inari. So Fushimi Inari is like a shrine in.
Kyoto.
I think it's in Kyoto. Yeah, it's in Kyoto, and the a few places that you like have to visit. There's a lot of temples in Kyoto. People usually tell you to visit Fushimi Inari, which is the classic, the orange pillars that you climb up the mountain, and you can see the individual shrines. And there's also another place where you go is Arashiyama, which is like the bamboo forest in Kyoto. But I think Fushimi Inari is the most enjoyable because I like hiking, and to me, the climb for Fushimi Inari is not too difficult for an average person to climb finish. But it's also a very nice climb. Assuming you don't climb in the middle of in summer lah, you go in a more like you go in spring or in fall. I think it's a very nice climb. They also have decent food at the bottom of the shrine where you can kind of like snack on soft cream and other types of food. So I don't really like, unlike Chris, I don't really like visiting temples in Japan just because I don't I mean, it's not something that appeals to me generally. But Fushimi Inari is something that I would like because it kind of merges the whole aesthetic of Japan with my love for climbing. Yeah. Okay, so that's my Fushimi Inari Shrine, Kyoto.
I went there. I mean, I brought my parents and my in-laws there.
Your in-laws climb? No, your father
No,
definitely didn't climb.
they just stay around like the entrance area lah. So we went to Fushimi Inari. We went to Arashiyama, but we didn't go in too far also lah, cause they like my father-in-law can't really walk too much, right?
Yeah.
I've been to both these places before, and then I think it's like if we were to backtrack to like the question of where would you recommend people to go who have never been to Japan? I think these are the few places that you would recommend, like Fushimi Inari, Arashiyama, Yomizudera. We also went to Ginkakuji, the golden one. Golden one is Gin, right? Yeah. Was it Kin? Kin. Yeah. So we went to that also. I think these are like the you would say the more touristy places, but they do hold like pretty nice views lah. Yeah. But if I were to recommend just one, I would say look for a tour, which is the one that I went. Look for a tour that brings you to at least see Mount Fuji, like the surrounding areas, and even because you may not be able to go to Mount Fuji, right? But there are the tour that we went, like it brought us to like 4 different locations around Mount Fuji to see like different angles, and some of them had pretty nice views. So there was one that I said was a elevated like place. Then there was one that was like just across the lake. What's the lake called? Kawaguchi or something like that.
Yeah. Kawaguchi in Japan just means entrance of river.
Yeah. So I think that was the name of the lake. I can't remember. But yeah, so it was the lake that is like Mount Fuji is there, and then you are just opposite it, and then you can see like across the water, which is the picture that I took for the Instagram post.
Yeah, I think you were right. You could just be Kawaguchi.
Yeah, so I want to say that the views are really stunning, and like you told me lah, we were quite lucky because on that day it was super good weather. There were no clouds like blocking the view. Yeah, and I don't know, man. I think it's something when you are, when you live in a city all your life, and then when you are in the midst of nature and like mountains and hills, sometimes you're just speechless lah. When you look at like you see the whole scenery, and it's so beautiful because it's things that we would never see in Singapore. Yeah, there's just no space for us to see any of these types of views. So yeah, I really like treasure these like, short times that we have to like just marvel at nature lah. Yeah. I mean for you, I think probably like the first few weeks you were there, you open the door and then you see like the mountains of Sendai, you're like, wow, it's damn nice, right? Yeah.
It's nice. It's a different experience than Singapore. And also it just helps when you open the door, you don't feel a blast of hot air in the face.
True.
Like recently, Mary and I went to the mall, and then when we come out of the mall, right? In Singapore is different. When you come out of the mall, it's like when you go into the car park, right? It's like a totally different experience. You walk out, when you open the door, right, it's like a jet blast of hot air hits you in the face.
Yeah.
Right? In Sendai, it's the opposite experience. When you come out, it's like, oh, it's cold when you come out. Yeah. So, okay. So, you didn't go to Hakone, right? You just took a trip.
My parents went to Hakone. Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened was we ran into a Singaporean family when we were on the tour to Mount Fuji, and then it was quite cute lah. So it was like parents with this poly girl lah. Then she helped to plan the trip also. Then she shared with us like they went to Hakone and how to get there and all that. So my mom was like, okay, I want to go. Can you find out how to go? And then you tell us, we'll go tomorrow.
So they just did a day trip lah.
So I went to research for them and I told them how to get there lah. It was nice, but I saw the pictures, it looks nice, but I didn't want to travel another 2-hour train ride with Meredith. So I was like, you guys go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Chris, what about you? Do you have any others? I mean, I said 3 lah, but if you don't
recommendations are
not recommendations. Your top 3.
my top 3 things
So
to
you
do
say
with it. One of that's probably Akihabara. I always
Just
go there.
walk through. Just walk.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I just like the place. So half the time I don't even buy anything anymore. I'm just walking.
Yeah.
You know,
Window
it's like
shop.
I spend like an hour and a half in Yodobashi, and I go home or whatever it is. Or I just walk around the main street area. You know, eat stuff at the same time. But
See the rows of PS5s that are on sale.
yeah, that only happened in this last trip. So yeah, so that's definitely one place that I always try to go. I think I almost always go. At least for a short while before every time I'm in Tokyo.
Yeah. I was gonna say I thought yours would have ski involved, like some kind of ski experience.
Well, I mean, I've only skied in Japan twice, so I don't think that
counts, right? It doesn't
I
hit
don't
your
think that
top three.
counts as something that my top three things to do, because I don't think I've done them enough there
Yeah.
for them to do so. I mean, it might eventually become, and yeah.
So my third one, I we can speed up a bit. I was gonna say Harukoma, but I as much as I love Harukoma, I think my top three is to go to an izakaya. So any kind of izakaya. Like if I went to Japan and I don't go to an izakaya, I'll be like, what the heck did I do in Japan? So izakaya is a drinking bar place. You can go to chain shops. I think there's a very famous one in Tokyo called Torikizoku. It's like everything is 300 yen, I think. But at the same time, I think almost any izakaya in Japan is just, you can just go in, grab a couple of drinks, eat yakitori, eat whatever they want that they have, and I think you will generally have a good time. So yeah, izakaya. That's my number 3.
So I have a place to eat. I have a place to see. So for me to do would be go visit any of them. No, go visit any UFO crane game catching place and just go play. Because the reason why I love like playing crane games in Japan is because you can do the sumimasen.
Okay, what is that?
Sumimasen
you asked
basically just
the
means
staff.
excuse
That's
me,
the
right? So if you get stuck,
Yeah.
you can find any staff and say sumimasen, stuck. Then they will help you. They will help you like move it. If you do get like genuinely, if you get stuck, they will actually move it to like a more favorable position, and they will actually tell you like, go from this angle or go from the angle. Yeah. Whereas in Singapore, it's like your
If you're stuck, you're stuck.
own problem. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in Japan, I think from what I hear from you, like the stuff, like the games are intended for you to win them eventually.
They're more
if you
fair.
put enough money.
If they see you struggle, they will literally put it in a position where you just touch it and then it drops. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the nice thing about it. Yeah. Maybe because I mean the staff don't own the place, so they don't really care. They just want people to come back. Right?
Yeah. Can I just say, okay, so Marv won the Ampaman and Miropana-san, which is Rebecca's favorite anime now. And she literally still, like, she will hold them. She won 2 of them, right? So it's on a string. It's on like a loop. So she will literally hold them still now on her 2 fingers when she sits in the car. So the whole ride, there was one time where she sat in the car and she held it and then she fell asleep. So her head was like that the whole thing.
She looked like she was meditating.
Yeah, she looks like she's meditating on Ampaman and Meropana-chan. Yeah. So thanks, Marv.
No
You're her favorite uncle.
Yeah, it's Kapanman, right?
Which one?
No, it's Kapanman because you're only allowed to have it in the car, right?
Kuruma Batman. Only in the car. Yeah. All right. How about Chris? Last one? Do you have any? Chris is like holding on to the secret. I'm not going to tell people.
Maybe ryokans in general.
Yeah.
One of my favorite experiences. I don't go to them a lot because I don't go to ryokans, or onsens in Tokyo, even though there are some around. So because most of my trips are to Tokyo, I don't actually go very often. But I've most of my experiences in ryokans have been great. So definitely one of my favorite experiences.
Yeah. Marianne's favorite thing to do in Japan is to go to ryokan because all you do is noa.
Yep.
You just go, you land, you go in, you can either take a nap if you want, or you just go to the onsen, you go and chill for an hour. And the good thing is you can come back, you decide, I still want to go back. And you just go back to the onsen again, like in the night, just after you just after you finish your humongous kaiseki meal. You know, you're a little bit fat, you're a little bit round, but it's okay. Nobody's gonna see you when you go to the onsen.
Hot water
You
helps
know?
you digest, right?
Yeah. You know, Marv, we went to Kiyomizu after. Yeah, we went yesterday.
Oh,
But
nice.
we went to the Higai. So Higai is you can use the onsen on like if you're not a guest, but you have to use like the Betsukan, which is like a separate
Mm.
onsen. So it's not the one that the guests usually the people who stay there usually use.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I can say that the Higai in Kiyomizu is not nice. I paid $13 for it, and it was Mary and I were like,
Means you got to
I mean,
stay
that-
one night at least.
yeah, maybe Mary would be very happy if we stay one night. We are going to stay in an onsen 2 weeks from now. We're going on like a work retreat, and then on the way back
Nice.
we'll stop at an onsen.
Actually, I would
Yeah.
recommend like people who have never been to Japan to save a bit and then pony up for at least one night.
Yeah.
Actually, just one
Yeah.
night will do lah.
Yeah,
It's just for the
you don't need so,
experience.
you don't need so many nights, and there's only so long you can know.
My mom was
Yeah,
like, next time I
because-
come back, I want to stay 2 nights. Then I'm like, go ahead. The internet there is
I
not
think-
good enough for me.
I think it's okay to stay 2 nights in Ryokan, but I don't think they can be back to back. like, if you're
yeah,
going there
there's
for 2 weeks-
nothing to do lah.
Yeah,
I think it depends on where the ryokan is.
yeah, that's true. That's
If it's
true.
a place where there's stuff to walk around or things
True.
to see,
Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
that's fine.
You're in AQ. There's nothing to do
The
there,
AQ,
guys.
there's nothing. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a bunch of ryokans all around the area.
Yes,
Yeah.
so there's nothing to do. Even unless you drive, then that's a different. Okay, so we're my timestamps don't seem to be working. I seem to be overrunning anyway. But anyway, let's talk about the Steam Deck. So enough about Japan. So recently, Chris got his Steam Deck before me. Dang it. Okay, so Marv and Chris and I have had our Steam Decks for about 3 months. Has it
December,
been 3 months?
December until now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got my bit later as well.
Oh, Chris got his
No,
in
you got-
January. Yeah.
I mean, you technically
Oh,
might
yeah, I
have
got
been
mine
first,
January.
but you know,
Yeah.
because I ordered it through a friend in Japan, I only physically got it in January.
Yeah. And then Marv has had it for what, 7 months?
September until now.
So about
So,
6 months
yeah,
or so.
about 6
6
months.
7 months. So the Steam Deck, for those who don't know, it is a handheld gaming device. But it's basically just a personal computer that just happens to be in handheld form that runs on Linux. And you can play your Steam games, which is like a platform that you buy and download games from. So after having it for what, 7 months for Marv and 3 months for us, what is your impressions about it?
I'll go first. Mine has been
Yeah.
kind of like commandeered or stolen by Sherilyn.
What has she been
She's shaking her
playing?
head. She says no, but for the last like 2 months, most of the gaming has been done by her on it. Yeah, she's been playing Hogwarts Express, which is sorry, not Express.
Legacy.
Hogwarts
Hogwarts
Legacy. Express is the train. Yeah, and it runs surprisingly well. Like it's
Yeah.
a stable 30 FPS, which I know some people are like 30 FPS so low, but if you think about it, it's a AAA game with really good graphics, running on a freaking handheld.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Your Switch can't even run most games properly
Exactly.
at 30 FPS.
yeah, so she's been playing it lah. I've completed quite a few games on it since I got like I think at least 5 games so far, just purely
Yeah.
like completely on the Steam Deck itself.
Yeah.
But I would say that there are stuff that you wouldn't want to play on the Steam Deck, which is the console. For example, like I bought Dead Space, you know, the one that came out I think in January, right?
Yeah.
Or was it last month? Was it last month?
February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to play that on the Steam Deck, even though it runs like decently.
Mm.
Yeah. And you will also think that you wouldn't want to play Hogwarts Legacy on the Steam Deck, right? You want to play on the big screen.
Yeah.
For Sherilyn, she's enjoying it on the Steam Deck more because she's not used to, you know, the point and the mouse
Yeah.
look. It's
Yeah.
third person, but you're still using the mouse, right? So she's not used to it. She gets dizzy when she plays on like her monitor screen. But whereas when she's on the Steam Deck, she doesn't feel dizzy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it actually helped. Yeah, it actually helped. I've gone so far as to create like a collection in my Steam Deck and renamed it. In my Steam library and renamed it Steam Deck. So these are the games that I want to play on the
You
Steam Deck.
play on the deck, right?
Yeah. Like and then when I finish one, I just remove it So
Yeah.
basically, it's a growing backlog. I don't think I'll ever clear it.
Yeah, the thing you minus one,
Yeah.
but you add two.
Yeah.
There's that kind of
Every time
situation, right?
a sale comes, then you add more.
Yeah.
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 So, I mean, 7 months so far, I would say it's lived up to my expectations. Lah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. What about Chris? I want to hear, because I always hear from Marv, and we talk about the Steam Deck very often, but I've never really heard from Chris.
I mean, there's no doubt that as a piece of hardware, it is an incredible piece of technology, lah. The ability to play, almost your entire library of Steam games,
Yeah.
and take it anywhere you want to go is quite ridiculous, to the point where I think that if any person who owns games on Steam
Mm.
has virtually no reason to buy another console anymore. Unless you desperately want to play certain exclusives. If you're not interested in exclusives, there's no reason to buy a PlayStation, Xbox,
Or if you can wait.
Yeah.
If you can wait.
a Switch, any of these things.
Well, only PlayStation. Xbox will release it on PC.
On PC.
So.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
In
But
fact, actually, PlayStation stuff will actually come. Most of them have
You
been
just
coming.
Just
Yes,
gotta
it'll
wait.
It's a Switch stuff that you most likely won't get. But
But then emulation.
but you can emulate. Yeah.
yeah, so I think there's to me there's very little reason to buy a console anymore. So I would buy version 2 of the Steam Deck, over the PlayStation 6 or whatever it's called, whatever the next generation is called.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But did you guys? Okay, so recently, I do follow the Steam Deck news like quite often. But recently, they had an interview with like the developers of Steam Deck. They said there wouldn't be, even if they do make an upgraded version of the Steam Deck, it will not have better. The thing that they will change is not the chip.
Yep.
They will not increase its power.
Yep.
They will do other stuff like increasing like the quality of life. So maybe like your screen, because the one thing about Steam Deck, it has giant bezels.
Mm.
So your screen has like bezel, it has that black lining around it, right? That's unusable. So they might make your bezel a bit. They might change the resolution of your screen. They might change it to an OLED screen. Maybe give you better controls. Maybe the ergonomics might change. But the chip doesn't get faster or better. Because one thing about people don't realize that people just think you just put like all the processing power in your handheld, and that solves everything. But they don't realize that like processing power is expensive, right? Especially in that small form factor where it has to have basically the chip that you're using, right, is an integrated chip. That means it's your CPU and your GPU in one chip, rather than like your PC, which has a dedicated graphics card. But and then the more power you have, the more heat it generates, right? Then you need to find a way to vent and cool your Steam Deck. And the more power it has, the more battery it uses. So you could have like the most powerful chip in the world in your Steam Deck, but it lasts for like 30 minutes, and then your battery dies. Right? So, yeah. So that's what they've been saying. Even if it's a Steam Deck 2, which probably won't even come out for the next 2 years at least. I don't think it's going to come out for the next 2 years at least.
True. But you're looking at it only from the perspective of the Steam Deck, right? So these things have knock-on effects, which is that you're gonna have third party.
Yeah, they already have
looking at the Steam Deck and then trying to replicate, improve. It may force companies like Sony and Microsoft to respond, with their own versions. Whatever it is, like these things have knock-on effects. So whilst they might not release a Steam Deck 2 for a while, there might be other
competitors, right?
That that may they come out with interesting solutions. Who knows? So that's going to be interesting. What it looks like.
They already have like competitors like the Iron Neo, but I think the biggest difference between that is that the Steam Deck is like has that like perfect balance between like that it has the perfect value proposition, because you have like the Iron Neo, which is definitely better than the Steam Deck in terms of its power and its like the actual handheld experience, but it's also like 3 times the price. It's like the cost of your laptop, right? Basically, of a gaming laptop.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like in terms of the value of what you can get, it's a bit different. I think for me, since I've gotten this thing, I have not really played a game on my PC.
Oh, really?
Like I just
At all?
I just mostly. I mean, yeah, because I'm not like Marv plays mostly. He has an MMO he plays, right? So he plays Lost Ark, and you wouldn't ever dream of playing Lost Ark on your Steam Deck, right?
Okay, the things that I would for like
If they
dailies, but I
if they allow you
can't
to,
because the
the anti-cheat software,
EAC,
right?
the anti-cheat
Yeah.
software doesn't allow Linux, which is damn stupid lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for
Like
me,
I would play Destiny 2 on it. on a
Yeah,
Steam
but
Deck.
that's not possible either.
But Destiny 2's Better Eye doesn't allow Linux either. It's damn cock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've played a single game on my computer ever since. I only played except Dota 2. That's not include Dota 2, which is my evergreen game. But I think for me, like the one thing that surprised me about the Steam Deck is that there's a whole bunch of community stuff. So I think the thing that separates the Steam Deck from like other handheld devices is that Valve really Valve, which is the creator of the Steam Deck, really like encourages the community to put in stuff and to do stuff. So like there's something called Decky, which is like a community plugin that people who have bought the deck have made to make the whole experience of using the Steam Deck a better experience. So like some things that I use all the time is something called Vibrant Deck. Chris, do you use Vibrant Deck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Vibrant Deck basically, okay, to be fair, the Steam Deck screen to me is pretty crap. I don't think it's a great screen. It's not very vibrant in terms of its saturation. So what Vibrant Deck does is that it allows you to adjust the saturation of your colors. It's not perfect because it's only like basically like one line that you increase saturation, so you can't control like where your RGBs go. It's just like, I mean, you can a bit, but it's very limited. But it makes your games look a lot better. And the good thing about it is that I think Valve, it's kind of like the company does it, and because Valve allows it, eventually Valve can like put that as like a part of the whole Steam ecosystem by itself. So you don't need to download a separate plugin for it. As opposed to this is like in opposition to how Nintendo does it, which is like the Switch is just whatever Nintendo says it is.
Yep.
You can't edit and
you
change
can't
it. Even to this day, the Nintendo eShop is a total mess. You know, you can't give games on the Nintendo eShop. You don't have themes for your your Switch, right? Doesn't have a theme. Like you can't you can change themes, dark or light. That's all you have, dark or light. Yeah. So I think I like that whole experience where like the community can adjust it, right? And even with your Steam Deck, you can kind of control like how much battery you want to use. You can limit your TDP of your graphics unit. So like maybe let's say you could technically play a game at 60 frames per second, but let's say you want to like, I just want to play at 14 frames per second, but I want my battery to last 30 minutes longer. You can do that. You can tweak the fans and you can tweak everything so that it fits you. So I really like that Valve really gives you the ability to do that. I think that's quite underrated. Because most software developers will just be like, no, you just have to do what we say you're going to do.
Yeah, this whole open source thing is pretty amazing lah. I mean, that's why we have the Cryo utilities, right? Yeah. So
Yeah. And
I think it's things like this that like make me feel like the Steam Deck has a lot of potential. Like way more potential than I would say the Switch. But then again, the Switch has sold like 100 million.
Yeah.
Whereas Steam Deck has sold like 1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not in the same category.
Yeah.
I would not buy there are certain people that I would recommend people get a Steam Deck. Like what Chris said, right? If you have a Steam library that is big enough, there is no reason why you would choose another console over your Steam Deck. Right? Because you don't need to buy new games. That's the thing.
Yes.
Is that the moment I got my Steam Deck, I had like a library of like 200 games that I could play immediately. When you buy your Switch, you have to buy your games. You might have to buy games that you already own just to play on your Switch. Yeah.
So one of my friends who pre-ordered Diablo 4 and he was playing the beta, right? He actually
He Steam Deck?
No, he actually started asking me like how much is the Steam Deck, where can he get one and that. Because he's going to travel, like he'll be traveling in June. So he wants like the Steam. He thinks like it's a better idea to get a Steam Deck than a gaming laptop. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Which is the other point, like it's not even a Steam game, but you can still run it. And it runs well. I think it runs at 40 stable.
Yeah, fully stable. But I mean, the thing is that there are certain things which I mean, the Steam Deck is a PC, but of course, like if people want to buy a laptop, there are multiple reasons why you should get a gaming laptop over a Steam Deck.
Yep, for sure.
Right. Like Steam Deck doesn't come with a keyboard. It doesn't come with like a dedicated monitor. Like it doesn't have a full screen monitor. So if you're gonna use it for like school, then you should get a laptop for a laptop. But if you're just gonna game on it, there's very little things that the Steam Deck couldn't do.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. So what do you think is like? Have you guys tried emulation yet at all?
No.
On the deck, no.
Yeah, I have not tried because I do want to try it, but at the same time I look at my the library that I already have on my deck. I'm like, why do I even need to do emulation?
Yeah. That's one point for me. So I'm like, I have so many games in my backlog, and okay, there's one reason why people emulate because they want to play like old
games.
console games, but
Yeah.
I don't really have any interest in playing old console games lah. And then
You
the
just play
other
the
one,
remake of it.
yeah, the other one is correct. Just play remake of it. Then the other reason is to emulate the Switch, but I already have a Switch, so I don't see a
Need to
reason, to
Yeah.
emulate. Maybe in the future, if like, I don't know. Do you think like Switch 2 comes out and then Nintendo will release games for only the Switch 2 and then you can't play on the Switch? And you have to
there's
buy
no
a Switch 2.
backward compatibility?
Yeah. Let's say like the new Breath of the Wild, the new Zelda game is only on the Switch 2. Then I would like look into emulating. Yeah.
The thing about the Switch is that you never know what the hell Nintendo's gonna do.
Yep.
Right? Nintendo is always like the rule breaker. They do stupid things like they
Like
do
the Wii U.
things that work out like the Switch, and they do stupid things like the Wii U, which sounds cool but didn't really work out in practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say that I would not count on Nintendo to make a Switch 2 that doesn't have, but also backward compatibility is not a thing for Nintendo. Like they don't care. They know that Mario Kart 9 will sell again.
Mhm.
Will sell like 50 million copies. They don't care. They know that.
The
Mario
new Pokemon will sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they are working on a different level there. What do you think what do you think of the ergonomics of the Steam Deck?
I don't think it's a bit heavy. Like I need like proper support. I can't just like hold it up like that. Like if you hold it up and just play like that, after a while your hands will hurt. Like you actually start to ache. Yeah. So which leads me to the point of having a good like cover for it. One that has what do you call it? The stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually bought hold on, where is it?
Chris, is your JSOX on it? Not JSOX, it's your
D-brand.
you bought the Witcher D-brand one already?
Yeah, it is. But my Steam Deck's not this.
So I actually I bought this when I was in Japan.
Oh, you got a Xbox.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
it's not a Pro, right?
No, it's
The normal.
I think it's the Elite, but can't remember. But yeah, I bought it because you know how most Steam games they show Xbox prompts, even if you have a PS controller linked to it, and sometimes it just won't switch. So I got so annoyed that I was like, I just buy Xbox controller, and I got it tax free also I bought it from Akihabara. Yeah.
Okay.
So
But
now
you play that with your PC or not with your deck, right?
you can play with the deck. So I
mean,
play with
you as in that's if you dock it lah, right? You mean you dock it?
No,
right?
you don't have to. You just connect it to Bluetooth and you just put it
Yeah,
there.
but I
and
mean,
play
that
it.
means you keep your deck on the stand and you.
Oh
play
yes,
it.
yes. I put it on a stand, yeah, and then I just use the controller. Yeah.
So that's it. Okay. I like the triggers. Do you guys use the L4, R5?
The pedals.
Yes.
Do you guys the back pedals?
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
I used to use them for Monster Hunter, but I haven't played any games that actually use them.
Yeah.
That need
Chris,
to use them.
what do you
fact,
use yours for?
it's the configurability of their buttons is one of the the great
Steam
things
input is
about the
the
deck.
bomb. You can just so easy just change the thing. You don't really think about it.
It's such a. I mean that control system is not new because I think they introduced it when Steam introduced their controller. I think.
Yeah. Steam input. Yeah.
So that system is not new, but it's the first time I'm using it, and the how far you can configure, things through that system is pretty incredible.
Yeah. One thing I always do is I always bind my stick buttons. You know, they're your L3 R3 buttons. You know why you press your joystick.
Yeah.
I hate doing that. I hate pressing on the joysticks.
Oh,
So I always, no matter in what game, usually right, L3 R3 is usually like sprint.
Yeah.
Great, yeah.
It's usually sprint or some kind of like center aim. Like, you know, you're aiming somewhere, you just press R3, it kind of like moves back to center. Because and you use it so often, right? Because in most games, when are you not sprinting?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I hate pressing them, and I'm very scared of joystick drift.
Yeah.
So I hate pressing on that thing. So I always put L4 R4 on it.
That's a good idea, man.
Yeah. So that's Chris, actually I'm curious, what have you been playing on your deck? Or what have you played on your deck?
While I was in Japan, I was playing Shadow Tactics.
Oh yeah, that's
Shogun.
that's
It's
it.
one of those games that have been in the library for a long time.
That's a game that I never think
yeah,
of playing on the deck.
So I was playing down the deck. It's good. It's nice. Screen's a bit small, perhaps, but no, it works great. What else?
Legacy.
I played Valheim. I played Valheim on Steam deck.
Oh, does it work? Does it work
Yeah.
perfect?
Works great.
Oh, you said you downloaded
you need to
the.
configure the back buttons and really lean into the whole configure the controls and stuff
Is
like
that
that.
the
But
one where you said you downloaded the Discord plugin?
Yep. Download the Discord, use Discord with it, play it in a multiplayer
That's
session.
just crazy, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, and the best part about using the Discord on the Steam Deck is that you don't need headphones, you don't need anything. It just works.
Yeah, the
You
microphone
speak through the mic,
yeah.
and your friends will hear you, and then their voice just comes back to the speaker.
That's the
There's
one
no
thing that-
feedback. There's no whatever.
yeah, the speaker on the Steam Deck is so good. Surprisingly good. Like
Yeah.
I don't even need to feel like like with the Switch, right? Like the speakers on the Switch is crap. I mean, if I'm playing something, I would just usually plug in earphones or something. I hate listening to the speakers on the Steam Deck. But on the Switch, sorry, the Steam Deck speakers are actually like, and it's loud. If you blast it at full volume, like when is your Steam Deck volume at? My Steam Deck is never at full volume.
No,
It's like
same.
My Steam Deck volume is not even at half. I
Mine's
think.
like one third.
Yeah, and then, but on the Switch, it's almost always at full volume. Like my Switch, yeah. So it's a different, yeah. I call my my Steam Deck my JRPG game machine because it is a perfect. I think there are certain games that are just better portable, right? Games that you can pick up for a short session and then stop playing for a while. Like games, actually, the reason why I think Hogwarts Legacy is good on the Switch is because on the Steam Deck is because it's those kind of games that because it's open world. It's your typical open world game, right? You do like a few things. It's not this game where you like pick up, you do a quest, or you go and like find. I don't know what you find in Hogwarts Express. You find what? Owls, find feathers. What do you do? What do you do in you go and hex some people, and then like you just hex people for 20 minutes. You have fun, and then after that you put your stuff down, and then you don't think about it, and then at night, just before you sleep, I want to go hex some people, and then you just go and pick up your Steam Deck, hex some people, and then you're done. So I think it's perfect for those kind of games. And JRPGs are like what 40 to 100 hours, depending on which JRPG you play, right? And like it's just perfect. You just play for a while. You don't wanna like turn on your PC, go through the whole loading screen again, and then like start your JRPG experience again. You just want to pick it up and go. So I think, like Marv before I bought Marv told me that this is the perfect device for me. Yeah. And I agree.
Yeah.
Have you guys
for
tried?
both of you lah? I would say.
Yeah.
I think my argument was like it's the perfect device for both of you, like among all my friends, but mostly for you, Ian. Yeah, because I think Chris still plays like a fair number of games that would be better run on the PC.
Yeah,
but
I have some games that just cannot run on the deck.
Yeah,
like anything but mouse. Basically.
Most of your games, the type of games that you like, would run perfectly on the deck.
Yeah. Have you guys tried Steam Link or Moonlight yet?
I've tried Steam Link. So I was playing a Steam Link is you run the game on your PC. and then
Yeah.
you just remote.
Stream. And it streams the alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
Streams to your-
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah,
streaming
so
service.
you can play like at a higher setting or whatever. So I was
Mm.
playing Dead Space. I played one chapter using
Mm.
Steam Link because I was playing it on the sofa outside. But okay, that brings me to another point. Playing horror games on the Steam Deck is not as scary.
That's why I'm playing Resident Evil 3 on the Steam Deck, because I don't want to be scared.
Chris, do you know that Ian actually finished RE2 remake? Resident
Yeah,
Evil 2.
maybe
Yeah.
this means I can finally play horror games.
Yeah. So I think having the small screen really helps.
Yes.
You're not
Yes.
as immersed, right? You're not as
And
immersed.
bro, you know when you're scared, right? Just lower the volume. That's what I do. Lower the volume, stand in the sun. You know, like no monster is coming near me. It's okay, guys. I'm safe. Yeah. So I'm playing RE3 now, and it's not as I can imagine. Like I'm not, some people, like I think Marv is one of those people that you want to play in like a dark room, that you don't scare yourself, you experience that whole thing. I'm like, heck no, man. I don't
I
want to
just
play.
I just
I don't wanna be
started
scared.
Alien Isolation, and then I play with like headphones on.
Noise cancelling. You don't hear anything except the
Yeah.
puffing and puffing of the alien.
I've jumped a few times.
But I think that's the thing about the Steam Deck, that it adds to the evergreen nature of it. Because yes, obviously, eventually, the Steam will not be able to run modern AAA games. The Steam Deck, right?
Mhm.
Eventually, it will just reach a point where it just can't run it. But if you still have a gaming PC, you can forever run it on your Steam Deck, because you just run it on your gaming rig, and then you just stream it to your deck, and then you can just play anywhere. And you can just do that. I mean, and the best thing about it is that you save on battery. So if you actually use Steam Link, right, and you check your, you can see your performance view, right? You see how much battery your thing is using, right? Everything from me, right, is like 1%, because it doesn't use almost none of your GPU or CPU. It's just basically using your battery
Bandwidth, yeah.
to run the streaming service. So so basically you can have like 7 hours of gameplay if you just use Steam Link, because your computer is doing all the heavy lifting. Yeah. All right. Any last points on the Steam Deck that you guys want to? I mean, okay, maybe the last one. What do you think is something that you would like to change, that you wish the Steam Deck was different, or that you want in a Steam Deck 2?
I think a slightly smaller form factor would be nice, actually. Battery life. I think battery life.
Yeah.
So you want like a Steam Deck Lite?
I mean, not necessarily light. I mean, there's only so much you can do with it. But I think the Steam Deck, in its current size, pushes the boundaries of what you'd call portable.
Yeah.
It's quite big.
Yeah.
So you need a pretty good size like bag to carry it around. I do miss the size of the Switch. Like, it used to be that while going traveling, I could put my Switch easily into like the back pocket of an airplane seat.
Have you picked up your Switch recently?
No, but I could
You
put it
should
into
try.
but I used to be able to put it into like a glove compartment of a car, for example. You can't do that with the deck. So it is. I do miss that smaller form factor on certain occasions, because it is quite, especially before you buy like a proper case and you have to carry it around with the official carrying case. That thing's just not portable.
To be fair, the official carrying is really good. It's just, I mean,
It is really good. It's just huge.
what gaming handheld, what PC that you buy gives you a case for it when you buy it?
Yeah, but I mean, so it's an amazing piece of tech, but I wish it was.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wish the form factor was a little bit smaller. I don't know how much room they have to, to shave, but it would be nice.
Yeah. What about you, Muff?
I think for me it's the standard stuff lah. Better battery life, better screen. But I read somewhere that it's hard for them to get OLED. I think it was on the Steam Deck subreddit. I don't know if you guys read about they did an interview, right? And then they did say that, I think that
it's not as simple as what people think. It's not like you can just replace the screen and say that, oh no, we're done.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not.
If I'm not wrong, the OLED, like the proprietary thing, is owned by, I can't remember who, like a Korean company or something. Yeah, LG or something like that. And then in order to get OLED screens, you actually have to go through them. So like all the OLED screens in the world actually go through a single company, and for
I
the
don't know.
deck to get, because you have to customize the exact size and width that you
doesn't
want.
help. Yeah.
And it's only for you only have like 1 million units sold to show for it. They may not even want to bother doing it because they have to like change like certain dimensions of the,
change
the
the tooling and
machine,
machines,
the
like,
tooling,
The cost benefit doesn't work
Correct.
out for them.
Whereas the
ROI,
Switch is like,
ROI.
we sold 100 mil. I want a OLED screen. Sure. Here's the contract. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a problem lah. But I mean, that said, we have Decky, we have plugins to actually make the screen look better. If we can't get OLED screen, I guess it's fine. But better battery life definitely would be great lah. So for example, like we took a 7-hour flight. There's no way that the deck would last 7 hours. No, even half would be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You have to substitute it with like power packs. You have to buy battery packs to and it needs to be a battery pack that supports more than 25-watt charging, which is rare.
Faster charging would be nice. Because if you don't have a 65-watt charger, wow, that thing takes a
it takes
lot
too
of time
long.
to charge.
Too long.
Yeah.
Because I think the first time I was traveling with it, I hadn't bought like a proper charger or a travel battery pack. So I remember plugging into the same, charger that I would normally plug my phone in.
No way.
It was at like I think I put it to like 10% battery. I plugged it in when I went to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, it was still charging. I think it only had like 60 or 70% or something.
Yeah, it's probably a triple
hours charging. So I was like, okay, this is not sustainable. You need something that can support the output.
Yeah. That's one thing I think I learned. I didn't realize this until I got the Steam Deck. Is that your standard, like when you buy because people usually just charge their phones, right, or charge their computers, right, and with their laptops it comes with a dedicated charger, right? If you have a MacBook or whatever, it comes dedicated. People don't realize that like your charging comes at speeds. Like there are speeds to how fast you charge. It's not just about wattage. It's not just about amps, how much capacity you have. It's like how fast you're charging. So when I first started charging my Steam Deck, I was like, why I plug in takes 10 hours to charge my thing? But if you use the official charger, which isn't even that fast, it's a 25-watt charger only. You still take at least like, I think an hour and a half.
The official one is 45, I think.
45 minutes.
Because 45
45 watt.
is the minimum that you need.
Oh, is it 45? I thought it was 25.
Yeah, to not get slow charging.
Okay. Yeah. So I do agree with you. I would like a bigger battery. But like you said, everything is technically that if you want certain things, some things have to go. So if you want a bigger battery, you want a bigger processor, then the deck will just get bigger. And then you lose out on form factor. I think for me, I just want, in terms of software, and I think we'll get there, I think I want more software to be compatible. So I want Battle.net to be compatible. I know it's compatible if you run Windows.
No, you don't have to. You can install it.
You can install it now with
Linux.
yeah.
A non-Steam game.
I want things to run natively. Like I don't want to jump through hoops to get it. So like the one example is like the EA Origin. So if you buy EA games, it will like, in a sense,
don't have haven't you? So stop dreaming.
No. I'm telling you, EA is okay because EA Origin still runs on the Steam Deck. You don't need to do anything extra. You just install the game. It will like auto install Origin for you.
Yeah.
And you don't need to do anything different. But for like the other games, like especially for like Battle.net and Game Pass, especially Game Pass, you have to run a separate installer. Like it's not native on the deck. Yeah. So I kind of I would love to just have Game Pass on the deck. Then I might not buy games anymore.
I think this is more of a Linux issue than a Steam Deck issue lah.
I mean, it's something that Microsoft will also want to do, right?
Yep.
I think to want to, but I don't see the benefit for. Like, is there a benefit for Microsoft to want Game Pass to be on the deck?
Well, it might push more sales lah.
No, it might just end up we have a third-party guy who makes a version of a handheld.
That just runs Game Pass.
That runs Windows rather than Linux.
Or Microsoft might come out with their own.
Or Microsoft, I like it, but I don't know. I don't see it happening.
Like if you like, they might come with their own version, and if you buy it, it comes with a 1-year subscription to Game Pass, like that,
I mean they might, but I honestly don't think that. Honestly, I don't think that any of the big players, Sony, Microsoft will come up with a handheld device.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to change their
Yeah,
game plan.
because as much as they think like, oh, they see like the Switch is so successful, but the Switch was lightning in the bottle, and it's hard to replicate lightning in the bottle. So, I mean, they might surprise us, but I'll be very surprised if we hear that like Microsoft come up with like some kind of new tech to fight the Steam Deck. Yeah, but who knows? Yeah. All right. Any last words about the Steam Deck or anything else?
No, get one if you can.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the other thing. I think maybe the one thing is that you can't get one easily
Yeah.
either. So if only in Asia, you can only get it if you live in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong.
Yep.
Right. You can only get from Komodo, which sucks. Don't get. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, they gave me my thing late.
Okay,
Do
to
you know
be
if-
fair, right, in Singapore,
it's
it's
on
not that
sale
hard
now,
to get
right?
already.
Yeah, I mean, you
It's
can
quite
get it
easy
from.
to get one from
Crazy. You just have to pay a slight premium for it.
By the way, the Steam Deck's on sale now, 10% off.
Actually, it's not that much, Like you can get one for like 900 ish Sing, like 512.
For the 512, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
you pay like a 10% premium, basically.
I mean, you pay less than what I paid because I paid for shipping all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's actually less than what I paid.
Maybe I should do that service as well. Technically, I can buy. And the Steam Deck is on sale now, but it's on sale. I can't believe that.
10%.
Do you hear about the thing where now people who bought the Steam Deck just before
Just
the sale,
before they get credit, they get
they
store
can
credit.
claim store credit now? It's like, what?
Wow.
Can I claim store credit?
No, it's too far. Come on.
Yeah. So anyway, if you have a Steam library and you're thinking about it, get it. All right. Any last points for you guys about when? Okay, so are you guys coming to Japan in September?
We might.
Actually,
Actually,
earlier, how you know?
okay. So for me, right?
I'll see that at Fuji Rock.
If I start studying, if I start my course in October, I definitely want to do like a short trip before I start studying. And I've already asked permission from Sherlyn. If she can't make it, I'll probably do a solo trip.
But Marv, your studying thing is in person or is it online?
It's okay if they lift the COVID thing, which I think they might. Some of it's in person, some of it's online.
What
Okay.
COVID thing? You mean there's still a COVID thing?
So the currently now the courses are still 100% online.
Walao eh.
Yeah, but I don't know whether because if I do get into the course, it's in October. So by then,
that's not-
because Singapore is DORSCON green already, right? They announced like
Yeah.
this month. Yeah, so
Yeah, they're probably
they
not.
might start coming back in to teach in person.
Even
already.
Because if it's 100% online, I'll see you in Tokyo lah.
Yeah. you know now even Japan is like there's a new rule that you don't need to wear mask indoors, right?
Mhm.
But I can tell you that I went to the mall the other day and I
Everybody's
was the
wearing
only
it.
person. I was the only
Has Japan started to relax its mask
13
regulation?
13th of March. They
Ah.
relaxed.
So you were the gaijin lah. Everybody knows you are a gaijin. You don't wear a
I
mask.
I don't look that much of a guy. Maybe I do. Maybe I'm living in denial. Yeah.
It just
All
means that it just means that if if Obasan comes to yell at you for not wearing your mask, you have an official response now.
No, I'll just go, I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese. Can you repeat that in English? I'm gonna write. Sometimes there are benefits to being gaikokujin, being a foreigner. Like just write the whole. I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese.
Yeah, and then 5 minutes later, she sees you like ordering
Yeah.
buying like your groceries in
Okay,
fluent.
my friend
in fluent in
What the
Nihongo.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks Chris for coming on, just talking about Japan and this
Sure,
thing.
thanks
Always
for
good
having
to have you. I think you might be the most. Is he the most recurrent guest?
He and Jamie lah.
He, Jamie, and Zijian, I guess. Zijian came on a few times also. Yeah. He came on the Lam episode, right? The Chichong Fan episode.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Such a good episode. We need to just have Lam back again. But anyway, thanks for coming, Chris, as usual. Thanks, Marv. You can follow us on all our different channels on Instagram, Two Gamer Dads, Twitch, and on Facebook as well. So that's episode 27. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.